finalists for each award were announced as well.
Okay.
For like MVP.
Great show for you tonight. We're calling it the Orange and Cardinal Edition. We've got some great guests lined up for you tonight. The voice of the Tigers, Don Munson, is going to be joining us, along with the state champion from Cardinal Newman, baseball coach Charlie Assey, and, of course, Coach Fry again to finish us off, USC track coach, Coach Fry. So let's get it started. Welcome into the Walk-Ons. Special host tonight, Robbie Keinert. We are joined, let's go ahead and introduce this panel. First of all, we got our relationship expert, Miss Megan.
Hello, everyone.
Our very own NBA insider, Brandon.
Feels good for you to say that. Thank you. What's up, y'all? What's up?
All right, and this guy used to catch passes in the intramural ball from one Darius Rucker. It's the Harvard guy.
That's right. Still got these glue hands. If it touched it, they caught it.
All right, let's get it started with the pick six tonight. Cavs and Celtics tied up at 2. Looked like everybody's blowing everybody out on their own home court. They can't really get a rhythm of who's got command of the series. Just looks like the home team, but Cavs are going to have to break serve at some point if they're going to break through, because this is best of 7, and Celtics have the home field advantage.
I mean, I think
court advantage.
Whoever wins Game 5, I think is going to be the winner of the series.
Well, we're going back to Boston. So.
Yeah, I think going back to Boston. You know, I think really Boston's biggest concern here. I think they can't win on the road. I think due to the age. I think that's where it's starting to show. And I think that's really where they're starting to miss Kyrie Irving at, and Gordon Hayward as well. Because if those two are healthy, this would be a non-series. I mean, it would be over in 5.
Absolutely.
Look out for the Celtics next year. But
absolutely, you've been hearing a lot about Philly on the come up. You know, LA. You know, these other young teams up and coming. But I think Boston's the team of the future. I think they stand the best chance to beat Golden State when they're fully healthy.
Well, you know, they said the series doesn't start until someone gets a win on the road. So
That's true.
I see this going 7, but you know, I've been hating on LeBron the whole playoffs. I thought Indy would take him out. I thought Toronto would take him out. So Boston, I'm pulling for you. Come on, you guys got to do it.
I agree. Probably 7 games, but Boston gonna take it on.
Yeah, Boston at home. That's like I said, Game 5 is going to be the key. You know, LeBron came out in Game 2. He knew that was an important game. Came out, you know, had a high scoring first half, and guys were in here last week, Michael and William, where they were already declaring the victory for the for the Cavs based on the first half performance, but it didn't happen. You got to play the full 48 minutes.
And I think this is I've seen a lot of different posts saying, oh, you know, the Cavs, they won 51 games without Kyrie Irving, when they traded them, the Celtics, they went to the conference finals without Kyrie. This is where they start to miss Kyrie at. I mean, because like I said, I mean, if he's playing, this is a non-series over in 5.
Control the tempo.
He can score. He's a pretty good defensive player this year, and that's the problem with Marcus Smart is on offensively he stinks. He can't shoot. He can't spread the floor. That puts him at disadvantage on offense. So they miss Kyrie. Please know that.
Yeah, I think what's happening is, of course, it's all home cooking, but when your role players are at home, they tend to play a lot better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the starting guards for Cleveland, when they were on the road in Boston, I think they scored a total of 6 points in the first 2 games. So, if they're going to do that when they go back to Boston here, they cannot win. LeBron can't do it all by himself. He's going to need those other players to step up like they've done the past 2 games.
They did a pretty decent job, like you said, the past 2 games.
And a lot of that is coaching as well. Tyler's not getting the most out of those guys.
Right. Yeah, Brad Stevens, I'll give him the coaching advantage there. He always seems to scheme up something and find a way to find an advantage.
Easily.
Yeah. All right. Warriors up 2-1 on the Rockets. They're playing Game 4 tonight at 9 p.m. at Golden State. Golden State impressive, 126-85.
You know, this is
Game 3.
This is exactly why I said the NBA is just mundane, it's boring, it's predictable, because when you have a number 1 seed, 65-win team with the presumable MVP and James Harden lose by 41 points.
Wow.
I mean, what does there really say? I mean,
we saw this last year out of James Harden against San Antonio. He just kind of melts down.
That was basically 41 points in the second half. The game was pretty good up until halftime. But Golden State always has that run in the third quarter, so you got to withstand that blitz.
It's just frustrating because you look at these guys play basketball, you just think to yourself, I mean, who can really beat them? I mean, like I said, I still believe Boston has the best chance, against them. But I mean, they're hurt. They're not healthy, so we can't see that this year. It's just frustrating because it's just you just know the outcome. You know what's going to happen.
16-game winning streak of NBA playoff record, 16 consecutive playoff home wins for the Warriors, and they're looking to add to it. And I don't know if anybody can stop them this year. So they add on 5, 6 more this year. 6,
yeah, exactly.
More.
And we can't just ignore CP3 either because he played terrible last game. He's really been mediocre throughout the whole playoffs. And it's really been James Harden and Chris Paul being wildly inconsistent. One guy is great, the other guy is poor. One the other guy is great, the other guy is poor. They're both gonna have to be on their A game if they're gonna win this series, period. And they haven't been.
A little more defense out of James Harden wouldn't hurt.
Well, now CP3 has had a Hall of Fame career, so is he going to be defined by not making it to a final?
I mean, I think that would be kind of unfair to hold that against CP3, considering he is a 6-foot point guard. And how many miniature point guards have we really seen? Miniature players overall, period, have we seen really win a championship as the best player on the team?
Allen Iverson couldn't quite do it at 6 foot. But about 6 foot 150.
Yeah, but he took his team there though.
Yeah, he got him.
Yeah, I mean the last guy who did it was Isaiah Thomas in the '80s. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. So that can't be his defining legacy. I think regardless, he's a top 5 all-time point guard to me at least. But I think I want to see him win a ring, but I just don't see it happening.
I don't think we should just discount them right now. I mean, these guys can score in bunches, and they get hot from 3, then Golden State will have some problems. But, gosh, I mean, putting up 86 points when you're the top scoring, a second.
Iguodala is out now.
Yeah, he's out. He's out for the night.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, they're just wildly predictable on offense. I mean, they had the 2 best passers debatably in the league, Harden and Chris Paul, and they run so much isolation basketball. I don't understand it. I think that's a Mike D'Antoni issue. Yeah. I mean, when you after the game, you're losing by double digits, by 40 points, and you're like, oh, we're not going to change anything. I mean, isolation basketball only takes you so far. We saw that with Oklahoma City. Right. You can't play this way, especially against not against the greatest team, I think, ever in the Warriors.
Well, Steph Curry was catching a lot of flack in the first 2 games because he wasn't scoring, but he put up 35 points in Game 3. So what do you see happening tonight?
I mean, I see another great performance from Steph Curry. I mean, maybe 25 points or so. I don't necessarily think he has to score a lot in order for him to win, because their roster is loaded. I mean, I think one of those guys can have an off night and they still win by 20, 30 points. I mean, Clay's been pretty much non-existent the whole series. I mean, they're up 2-1. They've been winning the blowout
Warriors
fashion.
At home. They'll find a way at home.
Yeah,
but, See what Houston can do when it goes back to Houston, but they'll be in a 3-1 hole. It looks like.
Well, if they do, hopefully Curry won't curse. His mom says she needed to wash his mouth out with soap.
Yeah, that's disappointing from Curry. We usually expect more out of him, but everybody's human, I guess. Well, we'll forgive him this time. All right, Lucas Glover, our next topic. Unlucky in love is what I'm calling. Even though his name is spelled, he's got love in the name. But his wife was arrested for assault and released 2 misdemeanors. Lucas and his mom were injured. Wife Krista tends to start arguments when Lucas comes home, like he did with a 78 and didn't make the cut in the TPC this past week. And just feel for Lucas. He has 2 kids. It's his second marriage, and his wife's due in court May 31st. The thing about it, though, this is his second marriage. His first marriage, he married his high school sweetheart, his college sweetheart. And the thing about being a celebrity, you may want to stick with your high school and college sweetheart if you marry that person.
Definitely.
Because you don't know what's out there when you put yourself out there. These people, male or female, you don't know what their motivations are. You don't know what are they really after.
I'm looking at this lady's mugshot right now. She looks psycho.
Yeah, she does. She really does. But this is a sad but humorous conversation to have, only because we don't know how long she's been doing this, number one. So it makes you think.
Allegedly, it's been a while.
It says that.
According to his mom.
It's a trend of it. And you're doing this in front of his kids. So, of course, you're teaching them unsportsmanlike conduct. Not only that, but how are they supposed to respect their father as the father when you are doing such things?
In front of the kids.
And she would
the
threaten
breadwinner
to take
gave
the
you
kids.
this kind of lifestyle.
Right. She would threaten to take the kids from him. So both of the kids are from the second marriage, from what I understand.
A 5 and a 2-year-old. Yes.
Yeah, the mother was involved in the domestic dispute this time, though. So
she's
maybe
trying to protect her son.
Yeah,
not my boy.
And I get that. I understand that. Like I said, you cannot hit someone's child in front of them and then think that's okay.
That's not acceptable.
Especially knowing, like, we don't really know the history, but it's a sad situation for him. Like, second marriage, so
well, it's all about the money. Okay, in his career, this man has made over $20 million from golf.
Well,
and this year he's made almost $800,000 alone already.
Well, it's not looking good for her at this point when it comes down to the money, because she's been she has a domestic assault case against her now.
Yeah, May 31st.
Right,
go to court.
And it's not just against him. The mother is also involved now. I'm sure they're not going to look at that as being a healthy situation for these kids.
Can you say drop the charges? Because he tried to do that when the cops were there. He told him he didn't want to press any charges, but since this was already ongoing,
he might not want to press charges, but his mother, I can assure you, is going to press charges.
And alcohol allegedly involved too, so we got to.
She looks a little.
Get a handle on that.
On those pictures, so.
All right, we're going to be back in just a moment on the Walk-On. Stay with us.
So she had a couple of drinks in her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's sad that she's had a couple of drinks. With the way she looked, it looks like she had a little bit more than a couple of drinks. Look like she might have forgot to take her medicine.
All day long, yeah.
But like I said, it's a sad situation. Very.
I don't want to laugh at him too much because you never know what kind of stuff she's telling him. Like, oh, if you leave me out, harm myself, or you never know. I mean, you never know.
If you leave me, I'll take the kids, is what she's saying.
Yeah, he has. That's what I was going to say. That's what has been exposed to the public is she threatens to take the children. Basically telling him if he doesn't clean up his act, do better the next round, then she'll take the kids. So that makes me think, what is she saying when he does good? When he has a good round, what is she saying? Like, that's funny to me.
Maybe she's got some high highs and low lows.
Yeah.
Celebrate the good round.
I would love to hear that conversation. Right.
All right. Welcome back into the Walk-Ons. We didn't get through our pick six, so we're going to go through that a little bit more. Clemson baseball finished up 43-13. ACC Atlantic champions. They'll play Notre Dame tomorrow at 3. And Florida State Thursday at 7. Seth Beer with 19 home runs on the season. As we mentioned, Don Munson will be joining us in a little bit to talk more about Clemson football and baseball. USC baseball, 33-22. They play Missouri later tonight. I think those games were getting pushed back, so it may be late tonight before they hit the diamond. But 5 straight series wins for the Gamecocks. And I believe on this show, probably about 6-7 weeks ago, there were some people giving up on the Gamecocks pretty much in baseball this year.
Well, now I'm not going to put. Now I will say that I was giving up on LeBron, and I still am. But I think Kingston is the guy. The guys got off to a rough start there, and still couldn't get many wins during the midweek. But past couple of series, they've taken care of business. The bats have come around. The pitching has been pretty good, and take care of Missouri tonight and see if we can go further into the tournament.
Well, likely a 2 seed is what it's looking like now. If they can, win tonight, maybe win a couple out there, they'll secure probably not a top 16, so they won't be hosting in all likelihood. But still, they were on the bubble or out there about 5 weeks ago before they started running off these series wins. So good job for the first year.
Some projections have us going out to Durham to play Duke, and hopefully that will happen because I think we can take care of them. We're on a hot
Coastal
streak
Carolina
right now.
was another one, and or NC State. So we'll see. NC State pretty good.
Yeah,
we'll see what they can do there. USC softball advances to play Arizona State 11 o'clock Friday night. I know you're staying up. Gary will be our softball correspondent to cover that one.
Gosh, what a win. What a win. Got back in with a walk-off against Liberty and then, with a walk-off and then had to play Liberty twice. Took care of Liberty twice, and those women are playing some ball right now. So
I have a question, though. I mean, at what point do we start to acknowledge USC as one of the better overall sports program in the country?
Women's sports program.
I mean, but in every sport. I mean, every sport is pretty competitive. I mean, when do we start to acknowledge that?
I would say women's.
Hey, we're in the top 20 of, is it the Schwab Cup right now? And
Sears Cup.
Sears Cup.
I don't know what it is.
But you cannot beat that at all. I mean, all these universities and colleges out there, and you're in the top 20.
Yeah.
Men's football, we did finish 9-4. I mean, it was bad.
It's coming on. But there will be some competition. The monopoly is over in softball. Clemson is fielding a softball team for the first time in 2019. So,
well, that's going to take them about 10 years to get up to speed. I'm just telling you.
I don't know. There's a lot of good softball prospects in the state of South Carolina.
That's what I was going to say.
You see softball every weekend. You see tournaments going on. So,
that is true.
So they may be able to acclimate themselves pretty quickly.
It takes a minute to field a team.
Especially if you can offer the right things to the right people.
Hey,
you got to think about it.
New uniforms. We'll
see.
We'll see what we can do there. But let's go back to a little more basketball talk here. Like we said, tonight, the Warriors looking to make it 3-1, and I think they should have a good shot at doing that.
I mean, I think the key to beating Golden State, I think, if you're Houston, is for one, like I said earlier, this isolation basketball they're playing where it's just James Harden dribbling between his legs. You dribbling down the shot clock for 10 to 15 seconds and then putting up an erratic layup. It's not going to work. And then I think a lot of his points production comes from the free throw line. In the playoffs, that shuts off completely. You don't get as many foul calls. You don't get to the line as much. I think they're too dependent upon isolation and free throw shooting to get them there, and it's not going to work. I mean, which you got a roster full of guys who are averaging double-figure points. I mean, you got, of course, Harden, CP3, you got Capella, you got PJ Tucker, Trevor Ariza, Gerald Green. There's no reason in the world why they shouldn't be moving the ball more, getting these other guys more active. Like in game 2, I believe, when they blew out Golden State, they're moving the ball beautifully. It was awesome to watch. When they play like that, I don't think there's a team that can beat them. But they're reverting back to their old ways, and for the life of me, I just can't understand it.
Why aren't you running what you were running during the season that got you to where you are right now? And just like you said, it was ball movement. You have 2 guards averaging more than 10 assists per game. So the ball was moving. Now you're not getting that right now.
I think defensive intensity picks up in the playoffs too, though. That's one factor you got to consider, that guys know what's on the line, and they're going to bring it a little bit more defensively throughout the playoffs.
And in the chat, they're talking a lot at this point about, I know this is off topic, but LeBron versus MJ.
Yeah, I said it last week. Give me MJ.
Michael thinks, Michael says his classes, he don't care about the accolade of the player, just contribute and be consistent. And I agree, LeBron is a great player.
Oh, yeah.
But that has nothing to do with the comparison of these two individuals.
I mean, look, I'm as big a LeBron fan as anybody, but I've said a long time ago, he's not the GOAT. He's not better than Jordan. He's not better than Kareem either.
Did you hear that, Chris?
He's number 3 all time, and that's okay.
And Chris says Bron versus everybody. Bron for president.
Well, look, once LeBron gets a full hand of rings, then he can start talking to some of these players. But
where's Bron going next year to chase that ring? Going to Philly? Is he going to LA?
Philadelphia.
Is he staying in Cleveland?
If I had to bet my money, I think he's staying in Cleveland. I don't see him leaving again. Because I don't.
The fans will be the one to run him out. If he lose, they lose this series.
They burned his jersey last time.
I know we keep saying that there's like 28 or 29
him.
teams that want LeBron. But the teams that are in the playoffs right now, who've been in the playoffs this year, most of them have their roster set. They're young teams, and they're on the rise. You don't want someone to come in there who's ball dominant now to underscore what they've had during this playoff run.
They can adjust that roster to get Bron.
Well, the thing about that, I've been reading that the next stage of LeBron's career, he wants to be more of a scorer, of a wing player. He doesn't want to necessarily be a guy that averages 8, 9, 7 assists a game anymore. He wants to be purely focused on scoring.
And I get that. Being able to prove that you can do move around the court and do everything. So I mean,
now that's the kind of role he wants to pursue. I mean, Houston fits that because they do need a wing scorer, consistently score on the wing.
This is tough because when you've been a type A personality now for how long has he been in the league now? 15 years, 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
And so now you're telling me that you're going to give up the ball. That's going to be tough because you don't see many people make that transition. And I can give you one example this year. Been a dominant scorer his whole career, goes to OKC. What happened to Carmelo? Could barely get on the floor.
I think that's a completely different situation, considering one, that he's a little washed up now. Secondly, he's playing alongside Russell Westbrook, who doesn't give the ball up to anybody. So I think that's a little different. Now, if you're talking about LeBron going to somewhere like Houston, I mean, Chris Paul is your point guard. That's the best player, probably the best teammate he's ever had. And then you got James Harden as well. I think he'll be fine giving the ball up to those guys.
Westbrook averages over 10 assists a game.
Yeah, but we know those numbers are oversaturated a little bit.
Marcus wants Kobe to be a part of this discussion as well. So you be Kobe, MJ, and LeBron.
I love Kobe.
Kobe has more rings than LeBron, and that's why I keep saying. So you said
the discussion would be between Mike and Kobe?
Yeah.
I mean, I hate the rings argument, but I think Kobe is number 8 on my list. See,
Michael says, "Oh, y'all need to stop talking about what you can't articulate. Let's talk about this. Did he just compare LeBron and Melo? He wants to be called. His phone number and everything.
LeBron is great.
All right, Michael.
Melo played some good ball in the Olympics. Was it 2012 when he teamed up?
Yeah.
But I mean, you put him around other great players, he was great.
I've been through with Carmelo since he said that gold medals mean more to him than NBA championships. when he said that,
he wasn't in contention for anything.
I don't care. I don't care for anything Carmelo has to say.
You gotta listen to
he
the
wasn't going to win a
whole
ring,
statement,
so you have to say that. But I'm just saying, when LeBron gets out of Cleveland, which we know he's going to move if they don't win this championship, then what team is he going to go to that's a playoff contender now that really, really will trade some of their better parts to move him there?
The two places I can really see him going, like I said, is either Houston or New Orleans.
Houston.
Because New Orleans, they need a wing player as well who can shoot and score. That works for them if they're going to do a sign and trade deal with DeMarcus Cousins. So
okay.
Don says the Lakers. Marcus said, "Cut your mic off."
All right, we'll be right back with Don Munson.
They are giving us a hard time, huh?
Yeah. Don says he's going to the Lakers.
See if we can hear Don.
I can see LA.
Hey, Don, how are you, sir?
How are you, man?
Hey, we're doing great. Thanks for joining us today. All right, let me make sure we can hear you good. Can we hear him good back there, Darren? Yep. I can't.
I hear.
Y'all hear him in the headphones? I got it all the way up. How about that? All right, say something. Can you hear me now?
I got you. You
Okay.
got me?
Yeah. I think I had you on speaker, so this is better without you on speaker. Figuring these things out. Here we go. All right. Welcome back to the Walk-Ons. We're delighted to be joined by the voice of the Tigers, Don Munson. Don is, I tell you, it's good to be Don Munson. He's the only broadcaster that had the opportunity to cover both the college football playoff and the Sweet 16 in basketball. You might as well top it off with the College World Series appearance this year, Don. Make it a full sweep.
You can sign me up for that right now. If you can make that happen, I'm all in.
Sounds great. Back to football, though. It looks like the college football playoff is now an expectation. You know, they say don't take things for granted, but it's hard not to when you have Dabo Swinney coaching your team, don't you think?
Well, I don't ever think you should say that it's expected. You have to earn your way there, and I think that's one of the things that Swinney always is preaching to his staff and to his players. No one's going to give you anything.
Right.
You've got to earn your way there, and that's one of the things I love about his style is that nothing is given to him,
right.
And he goes out and he earns everything. So, yeah, once you start thinking that that something's expected
right.
or that you deserve it, that's when trouble happens.
Yeah,
and you need to go out there and earn it.
No doubt. Offensively, let's look at the quarterback position. That's been a big topic this week. The main question on the mind of Tiger fans, Kelly Bryant was 11-1 in games that he started and finished last year. His best game was the ACC championship game. The O-line really let him down, I think, in the Sugar Bowl. And you were there moderating the Greenwood prowl and growl. And Dabo says that he expects to play multiple quarterbacks. At that time, he still had Hunter Johnson in the mix, but it's a good problem to have with a lot of talent at the quarterback position. But it looks like it's down to Kelly Bryant and Trevor or Lawrence right now. So what were you surprised about Hunter Johnson transferring after he'd been through spring ball? And what do you see shaking out at the quarterback position?
Well, I think that part of that came down, it was just last week that the depth chart was released coming out of spring ball. Today's young man is probably a little bit different than, I'm 56, so it's a little bit different from when I was going through college where, it's just a different day and age. These kids can all play. They can all go out. People are always, looking for a quarterback. I don't know where Hunter's going to end up. Something tells me that he may end up back in the state of Indiana, playing for one of the state schools there.
Right.
But we'll see how that plays out. But I don't think that it was necessarily a shock because it's a young man that wants to play football. He doesn't want to sit on the sidelines. Even though, like you said, Coach Swinney said that he's going to play multiple quarterbacks, and he is.
Right.
And probably now that the quarterback that you're forgetting is Chase Bryce. It won't shock me against Furman to see three quarterbacks play.
Right.
But Kelly Bryant's going to be the starter, and this is all going to get settled. It won't get settled in practice. Coach and the staff will make decisions based upon actually playing. How does one play when they're in a game? Now, practice will have some say in it, but believe me, game performance tells you a ton more than practice performance, and so that's how all of this will shake out and come down. Personally, I personally think that Kelly Bryant will start every game here in 2018.
Well, that was going to be.
If he does get beat out, then that is actually a good thing for Clemson football because it means that there's somebody better than Kelly Bryant. And if you're going to tell me that there's a quarterback that's going to be at Clemson that's going to be better than Kelly Bryant, then I'll take that. We went 12-2 with him last year as quarterback into the semifinals. So we'll let it play out. I think people try to get ahead of themselves way too much. Just be a little patient with it. Patience is a virtue. Take it game to game. Believe me, the staff knows exactly what they're doing. You do not know more than the football staff. I hate to tell you that, but you do not know more. Put a lot of time in, and they
evaluating film and evaluating what they ask them to do in practice. But you mentioned the depth chart. What is was Trevor Lawrence third on the depth chart?
He was listed 2.
Okay.
Trevor was listed as 2, and Hunter was listed as 3.
Okay.
I'm sure that probably had just a little something that was in there with the whole decision.
All right. Well, if you can hold on, Don, we'll bring you back after the break. A couple more questions.
Good.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, but I had a comment on the quarterbacks.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the question.
We'll have to wrap it up. Probably a couple more questions. So. All right.
There is. I didn't see the ACC stuff on there either. Maybe like
all right.
190.
We're back on the Walk-Ons. Thanks for joining us again, Don. Just a quick question for you on basketball. I know 2018, 2019, you had. We're just wondering if you're going to do the basketball again, or are they going to bring somebody in like they did with Tony Castricone?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that yet. To be perfectly honest, just as honest as I can with you, I just don't know the answer to that.
But you enjoyed doing basketball last year?
Oh no, I had an absolute blast. I lived out a childhood dream now for a kid that grew up in the state of North Carolina. You can imagine, especially in the 60s and 70s now, basketball in the Tar Heel State back in those days was absolutely king, and I was of that David Thompson era and that kind of stuff. So I was 12, I guess, when they won the national championship. So right there at that point in time where you're really affected as a young kid. So no, I got to. I mean, there's only 15 of those jobs in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and for me to sit there and be able to do that courtside and make the run like we did to the Sweet 16 was just absolutely amazing, and just had an absolute blast doing it. And obviously working with Tim Beret at your side, there's nobody better than to have him right there beside you doing it.
Awesome. I think Gary has a quick question about the quarterback's follow-up question.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, Don, I'm a Gamecock true and true, but
sorry.
Of course we have Bentley here, and then the carry-on Joner, the freshman coming in, and one of the things we were talking about here is possibly having some plays put in for him with the 3 quarterbacks that you all have there. Well, 2 now, but
3. With Chase Bryce is 3.
Chase Bryce, okay. But with the coach saying that he's going to possibly play all 3 quarterbacks, do you think he's going to put in particular plays for any of those guys, or he's just going to run his system?
No, I think he's just going to run the system. All 3 quarterbacks are fairly similar. Obviously, Kelly of the 3 can probably run the ball better than the other 2, but I'm just telling you, Trevor Lawrence can pick him up and put him down. He can run the football.
He might not take a hit like Kelly.
More so than Bryce, from that fact. But I don't think that just because there is one quarterback that is over another that's in the game that they will change the style or the system of what they're doing. I think they'll pretty much, the playbook is the playbook, and each quarterback is expected to know the playbook and go out there and execute plays.
Sounds good. Tell us about this, the health of the baseball team, Don. I know Brian Hennessy missed a start, and Kier Meredith's been banged up. How's the baseball team looking as they head into postseason play tomorrow?
Yeah, we're hoping to maybe, to get Kier back sometime here during the tournament. They certainly like. He actually got a little BP on Saturday. We took him with us to Pittsburgh for the 3-game set that ended up there on Thursday, Friday, Saturday of last week, and he actually took a little BP on Saturday, which was good to see, and ran around the outfield a little bit. Grayson Bird is another guy that's been banged up, thigh injury, and hopefully we'll have him back here for the tournament as well. Hennessy, I just don't know what is going to happen there. I really don't know. The team left yesterday, and so I'm not sure exactly what happened in practice today. Probably I will find out a little bit more about that. I'll hit the hotel coming up a little bit later here tonight, but then tomorrow when I'm there, certainly we'll find out a little bit more on what Jacob Hennessy's status is. I don't even know that they've announced a starting pitcher for tomorrow, to be perfectly honest with you. So I think all of us will kind of find out when we get to the ballpark.
Yeah, I think they were waiting on the outcome of Notre Dame and Miami.
Yeah, Notre Dame and Miami here tonight. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, right. Don, one last question from the Gamecock guy here. You guys are on the cusp of that top 8 seed. What do you think you have to do in the tournament to actually secure that spot?
Well, I think that we're going to be a top 16 national seed no matter what happens. And we could lose 2 here in Durham, and we'll still be in the top 16. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I mean, the fact that we won, there's only one other team in college baseball. It's won more games than us. So I think now to be a top 8 national seed, personally, I think you better win 1. To win 2 would be even better. To do that, and that would probably help you lock up one of those top 8 national seeds. If they were to make a run and win it all, I could see Clemson possibly being as high as a 4 national seed, as a matter of fact. And so you start to get to that era, and you get to be better matchups from that standing. I mean, you know how it is. It's like the NCAA basketball tournament. So is the NCAA baseball tournament. It's all about matchups. It's who you got in your bracket, who you have in your regional, and how you match up with those teams, and being hot at the right time as well.
No doubt. Well, baseball's won 17 out of 19. They had 2 exciting walk-off wins in the previous week, including Jordan Green's walk-off homer to beat Florida State. Seth Beers got 19 home runs. So does this team, in your mind, have the capability of making a run to Omaha this year?
Oh, yeah, I think they absolutely do. I think they have just enough offense, but I know they've got more than enough pitching.
All right.
Especially the way that the bullpen has been working. They're probably looking for maybe one more arm out of that bullpen that could kind of help them, because obviously they've been using a lot of Ryan Miller, a lot of Carson Spires. Spencer Strider's been used. It'd be interesting to see maybe Strider actually starts the game tomorrow, which would then take away from any bullpen stuff that he'd give. And obviously Riley Gilliam at the back end of the bullpen has just been brilliant. And so, I think they'd like to have one more arm. Who's that going to be? Matt Clark certainly showed stuff the other night at Kennesaw State in a start, going better than 5 innings and giving him a real good start from there. But they need to find that one other arm. Alex Schnell, I thought, threw really good at Pittsburgh in the 1 inning that he got, and he's a lefty, and he's got the stuff. He just has to know between the ears that he can go out there and do it. So, but I think they got the goods to make it to Omaha. And then once you get to Omaha, man, anything can happen. Just absolutely anything can happen.
That's right. Well, Don, we really appreciate you joining us. It's been a great pleasure to have you on. We'll hope to do it again, maybe once more before football season cranks up.
Absolutely. Anytime you all need me, holler at me. Always glad to visit with you.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Don.
Thank you.
All right. Go Tigers.
Yes, sir. Go Tigers, Don. All right, guys. It's great to have the voice of the Tigers in here. We're going to come back after the break. We're going to bring you the Cardinal Newman head coach, and he's a coach of the state champion Cardinal Newman Cardinals, and was able to bring home a baseball title to the Columbia area. Let's go over a little high school spotlight before we bring him in. White Knoll's girls softball team won their first ever state championship this past week, and the Chapin baseball team also a state champion as they beat Airport for the 4A baseball state championship. Cardinal Newman, as we talked about, they swept Ben Lippin 2-0, and looking forward to Charlie joining us shortly. As a matter of fact, we'll try to go ahead and get him on now so we can start it.
Yeah, shout out to White Knoll. Chris is not here, but his team won it.
Yeah.
So we had 2 teams from the Columbia area in the state championship games.
Went over Ridgeview girls won track, was the only Columbia area team to win it in track. So got some good teams around here in Chapin. They won it in boys soccer as well. So Chapin's getting a team that can build a lot of championships.
Well, they have really good facilities out there. So shout out to Chapin, shout out to White Knoll, and Cardinal Newman.
Right.
That's in my backyard. Well, the old school was, so they built the new school.
get Coach S. If not, we'll
but
try him again after the break.
They had a really good weekend this past weekend in the Forest Acre Classic. They got a win over AC Floor, which is tough to do. So, Cardinal Newman, shout out to you and the baseball team.
All right, Coach, are you there with us? All right, we'll try him again. All right.
But while we're waiting on the coach, what's going on with the Atlanta Braves? The Atlanta Braves are rocking it this year. Got some young talent out there.
Yeah.
It's glad. I'm happy to see that. I think Atlanta deserves a sports team.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I think we sort of got spoiled there back in the day when they won, about 13 straight. So it's good to see them coming back right now with some good young talent.
Yeah, I was going to say, they always have the
Hey, Coach. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, this is Robbie. We got you live on the Walk-Ons. How we doing tonight?
Doing fine. Yes, sir.
All right. Well, appreciate you joining us. Brought the first state championship to the Cardinal Newman baseball team since 1998. Tell us how you got it done in your first year there at the school.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, it just got some good players and some good kids and good administration and a lot of good things. When I decided to take the job over at Cardinal Newman and got there, I kind of said this to several people last June, about 3 or 4 days after taking the job and getting over there. We jumped in the weight room and we had about 29, 30 guys show up and we're ready to roll, and they've been buying in and working hard since. So it was I think they have some talent on the team. They played for it last year and lost to Lawrence Manning in 2 games, but they weren't a stranger to being there. Just getting back and kind of what we talked about was getting back and finishing this year. And like I've told several people, it can kind of go good and bad when you're first year head coach at anywhere. Just getting kids to kind of buy in. They've been molded or been coached under different people, and so it was just a really good year from start to finish.
Sound like
complete season.
Yep, sound like they were hungry for a championship, and you helped teach them how to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, it was some really good young men. I had the Cam Trinogli kid that's at Carolina now as a freshman that pitched for him last year, and some good seniors that they were at the state championship series and got to talk to them and know them and stuff like that a little bit through the year. But they were there and just told them thank you, and Coach Callahan and Coach Haney, coaches on the staff last year did a good job developing the young kids. And like I said, it was just one of those years that clicked and the kids were bought in, had 6 good seniors that feel like you're only as good as your seniors are. And they knew their roles and bought in and just kind of fed down from there.
All right, Coach. So, as we know, you're not the only state champion in the household. Your wife, Megan, brought home the state championship for the Spring Valley girls. Did they add a little bit of pressure for you, or how was that?
No, it wasn't much pressure. I mean, we kind of joke all the time at each other as we've kind of given a few interviews and talked, to media the last week or so. But no, she does a phenomenal job with everything that she does, and just super proud of her. And I think she said it to somebody the other night, and I kind of felt that way. But I was, in all sincerity, I remember being at the Colonial Center, when she's playing for a state championship, and I couldn't really sit. I was pacing around, and probably more nervous for her just because obviously I'm biased, and I know what she puts into it, and just was pulling for her very, very hard to finish it out this year. And so no, it wasn't any pressure, but we both kind of had said when it kind of came to a reality a little bit, it would be kind of just sitting back looking at it kind of cool if we both did it in the same year.
Right.
Now, Charles, I talked with your dad, and he had a good season going for the middle school team at the time I talked to him anyway. And you said you had 6 seniors on this past year's team. So do you think you can build a long-term contender there at Cardinal Newman?
Yeah, there's some good little players. We had, like I said, 6 seniors and, 2 kind of everyday guys. We've got some good underclassmen. There's 8 returning juniors that'll be rising seniors. 2 or 3 good sophomores that mixed in. Had a freshman that led all for us the whole year, and then the JV and middle school B teams both had pretty successful seasons. And again, it's every year's different, and we got back to work Monday. About 5 days afterwards, and back in the weight room.
Gave 5 days to celebrate.
That's it. And the young kids had a couple of weeks off. We made the run through the playoffs, so right. It was really more getting them back on the horse, and just a short memory for me, kind of. But yeah, no, I mean it's Coach Udy, our athletic director. We went to high school together. He was a Brooklyn Casey guy, and Miss Kaprowski, our assistant principal and stuff. It's just they've been phenomenal, and the parents and the community, and I mean it's been a really solid move and a solid deal, and again a lot of good little players, and like anything we got to work, and everybody else is working too, so we just got to keep getting better.
Yeah, Coach, one of my good friends' son just graduated from Cardinal Newman this year. Shout out to Will Chantos.
Okay, yeah.
Great soccer player. A lot of schools, they have a lot of kids that play multi-sports, and I know with baseball, football, basketball, really the feeling is they don't like for kids to play one sport all year round. Do you have a lot of multi-sport athletes on your team?
Yeah, just, being at Cardinal Newman, being a smaller school, probably the most I've had. But I'm a big advocate. I actually, played football, baseball in high school, and went to Presbyterian my freshman year too, and to play both. Ended up just playing baseball to finish my career there. So I'm a real big advocate of if you can help I've told my kids, if you can help the basketball team win, go help them win. And I think you can learn different, athleticism and just different things here from different coaches. But I'm real huge on that, but I don't force it. So if, kids don't do it for various reasons or whatever, then obviously they're going to be with me in the summer and the fall, and we're going to lift weights and, continuously. I think there's different ways you can work at your game without picking up a ball and a glove all the time. These kids, a lot of kids are having surgeries at early ages. And again, that's not always playing it year round. That's just being smart about what you're doing and the way that you work at it. So we're going to enter the phase right now of we'll play some summer stuff, and then after that, through July we'll shut it down. And then late October, November we'll start a throwing program, but we'll lift and condition and kind of work speed training and things of that nature. But I tell all my kids, I'd love for them to go play football and just help your school win. And I think each sport and each coach can bring something to the table.
Right. Sounds great. I like that answer, Coach. Now, Cardinal Newman, they've seen a good deal of success lately. The boys and girls had fielded good basketball teams, and the girls made it to the state semifinals. Boys soccer was nationally ranked all year before falling to Hammond in the state championship. Softball was state runner-up. And looked like you guys are building a lot of momentum as a school. You got a new school over there, new facilities. What are you guys talking to these prospective student athletes and their parents about the unique opportunities afforded by the Catholic school education that y'all offer there at Cardinal Newman? To be very, very blunt, I don't know that I've really had a conversation with a parent. I mean, it's just being brutally honest. I mean, if somebody comes on campus and they are coming there with intentions of looking at things of that nature, and they say they play baseball or whatnot, or I talk to them about we do, and just very, very black and white and blunt. Right.
That.
But it's a little more of a wow factor probably with the new school than that y'all moved into there.
Yes, right. I wasn't there for the old school, but I hear stories absolutely. And the campus. As a matter of fact, when about a year ago, almost last week to date, when this first came to fruition about me potentially going there, I actually got on. Me and Megan took off to go just look at the campus, and I started heading over to Forest Drive, and I didn't even realize that they had moved campuses. I just go so consumed with
White Knoll and Lexington 1 and, just the public high school league stuff. But it's a beautiful little campus. I mean, there's some things I told my guys, you got to have an imagination and a vision. The field and everything's, really, really unique and nice. And it's a great setting. We just need to do some small things here and there. But it's a good place. I mean, it's a Catholic-based school, but it's open to anybody that wants to, come and just have some religious-based faith and kind of just be a good young man and young lady and build some character. But the coaches have been phenomenal. Coach Dieter, Coach Rainwater in basketball, Coach Jones, longtime softball coach. Obviously, Coach Udy, has his boys in there every year in soccer, and Coach Plexico and Coach Dutton, our football coach, is working really hard to, get things turned around, and he's a good dude. And I just think it starts at the top, again, just, getting good people in, and it's a chance to get a good education. And, again, there's some expectations and discipline through the daytime, but I think our society could use a little bit of that. So I'm all for it.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you joining us, Coach, and congratulations again on your state championship at Cardinal Newman.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Well, I appreciate you having us on there, and covering Cardinal Newman and baseball, and me and my wife.
All right. Yeah, we're going to have her on again maybe before next season to talk about her defending state champion.
Yes, sir.
Lady Vikings.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I know she would enjoy that.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks again, Coach.
Okay.
Take care.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having us.
All right, we'll be back in a minute. We're going to hear from Coach Fry, and he's got a little track meet coming up this weekend, so we'll catch up with what's going on with Coach Fry after the break.
Yeah, Cardinal Newman is killing it right now. Have y'all seen that new school?
Yeah, I've officiated
out there. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I haven't seen it.
Nice school.
I thought we were going to have time. I guess we're going to go right now. Picks up.
Michael Walker says, call Coach Walker.
Hello.
How we doing, Coach Fry?
Keeping it real, baby. Keeping it real.
All right. We're in commercial right now. We'll be right back with you. Right back.
All right.
Right back with it live.
Yeah, keep it live.
Yes, sir. Are you down in Florida? Or are you heading down?
Yes, sir. I'm in Tampa right now.
Okay. Cool.
Sitting there waiting on you boys.
All right.
And girls, I'm here, Coach.
Megan is here tonight.
Oh, wow. Ever since we had that young lady came out in England and started up something here now.
All right. Welcome back into the Walk-Ons. We've got Gamecock track coach Curtis Fry on with us now. And, Coach, I see you had a guy, Josh Awatunde. Is that how you pronounce that?
That's right, man. You guys, tell you what, you must have graduated from Carolina.
USC 8. They put a hyphen in there. But you got a school record, 20.77 meters in the shot put. But
68 feet, 68 feet, 3 inches.
Yeah, we don't usually metrics in America too much, but the track world, I guess they like the metrics, huh?
Yeah, yep. It's more accurate.
Yeah. And then shot putter Otis Jones finished third in the 800 meters. And
yes, sir.
Armand Woodley third in the pole vault. I cleared 8.6 in the pole vault back in my day. 6 foot in the high jump. That might not qualify for scholarship material though.
No, I don't think you get to the South Carolina regional meeting.
he couldn't even do that in high school now, Coach. When you got a guy,
school record 6 foot.
A guy there jumping 7.6 now, 7.4, 7.6.
Yeah. He's coming along though. You know what? He's all right.
Yeah.
But I'm just glad to see hey, we're here. We got a good group, 19 kids, 2 relay teams.
All right.
And we got TT. You know, he didn't have a good SEC meet, but he's ready to go back and get his #1 time in the country in the 200 meters.
Yeah.
And then we're trying to get to Eugene, Oregon in 2 weeks and see can we get in the top 25, both men and women.
I think you can do it, Coach. Like you said, TD didn't have a good run in the SEC meet there, but I'm looking for big things from him here.
But if you can compete in the SEC, you can compete nationally a lot of times. I tell you that. School record was only good for second place in the SEC. That's kind of hard to believe, but I guess it's a lot of good competition out there.
Hey, that school record has got all the agents and the shoe companies in the country coming out. The 68-foot guy in the shot put, that'll get you through the first round of the Olympic Games. And he's only a 21-year-old young man we brought in here. He was 58 with a high school shot. So he's somebody he wasn't a 5-star coming in. He's a 5-star getting ready to go out.
That's awesome. You develop them. That's what you got to do sometimes, right?
Yeah, that's what we got to do. Well, I think we just blessed, man. We got good soil down here. He moved from New Jersey down to South Carolina, and we grew him.
Yep.
We let him have some sweet tea, and he just started, a real sweet tea, and he started growing up. Next thing you know, he was from 235 to 305. He bench pressed somewhere around 520, and so he just started growing. He was a quarterback on 2-time state championship football team.
Good.
Whoa.
And we was watching how good his feet were, and he didn't throw the ball for like 15 times a season. They just ran it.
Yeah.
But he can't. We brought him in, and he ended up
probably weren't anxious to hit him. Probably 230 coming at you.
No, not 230 pounds. He was crushing them little boys in New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just like that. The Gamecocks are just having a fantastic spring. Our golf teams play well, tennis teams play well, and then the softball girls are on their way to Arizona to play Friday night. Get them to the Sweet 16 this weekend and on to the Final 8.
Yeah.
And
College World
Series. And that's going to be good.
Hey, Coach Fry, I just
baseball
mentioned to these
team
guys
is playing tonight.
I just mentioned to these guys earlier during the show that, at what point do we start, acknowledging USC is one of the better sports programs overall in the country with every sport?
Yeah. It is headed. Our facilities
really strong in women's. I'll give you that.
Yeah. our facilities have moved us into a category to where we're attractive to anyone. We went for a long time without competitive facilities. I just getting competitive facilities right now in track. But the rest of the sports, where tennis was struggling and softball was struggling with facilities, but now we're not struggling any place. Now our Ray has moved us to a mentality where we couldn't go West Coast to play games, and now with Ray on board, we're able to go in the preseason, and softball team go play in Arizona, and swim team gets to go swim in a different part of the country instead of the South. And the next thing you're gonna see us recruiting in football all around the country.
Yeah.
Right. That's what I see, Coach. We've been out to Arizona, so we're not going to be intimidated out there. So I'm looking for the women's softball team to do big things this weekend.
You got to stay up late Friday night, 11 o'clock start.
Hey, man, but I'm just telling you, vision is a big deal. If you don't dream it, you can't do it. And I just think the dreams of competing West Coast, East Coast, getting the word Carolina out all around, it helps us academically. When we do international Olympic games and have Olympic sports, it causes us in other parts of the world when we have international and immigrant kids come to this country, it makes us popular so we can market our great university.
Yeah, I was going to mention that Ridgeview girls were the only Columbia area track team that won a state title. What do you think about the state of Columbia area track and the state of South Carolina as a track high school track programs?
When we got here 22 years ago, I hate to take a little credit, but we were not a major 5-star developing high school track. Right now, we got, I think it's 60 coaches that are level 2 certified and in high school coaching. At that point, we didn't have one.
Wow.
And we got instructors in the state, and you can see the product in our kids. This year, I tried to sign 6 kids in the state of South Carolina, and they went from everywhere in this country. Mm-hmm. They're at that level, so it's changed drastically. When I first came down, I signed 2 kids to go to the University of North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Monique Hennigan from over Spring Valley,
right,
and a Gamble girl from down at Sumter, and they were the only 5-star kids that were coming out of the state. Now there's 6 or 8 every year.
Well, that's good. Good to hear that things are developing in the state.
We don't like them. We don't like them leaving state, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, I got to get some.
Yeah.
You know,
you recruit nationally and internationally, though. You want the best you can get wherever they're from, right?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you what, these 5 were the best of the best.
All right. That makes it more convenient.
We've got one from right here in town, and he's a superstar.
Okay.
He's state champion. I can't mention his name, I don't believe, so I'm not.
Right.
But
know his name well next year, maybe, right?
Yeah, I'll mention him next year.
Sounds good, Coach. Well,
but it looks like the Gamecocks got a basketball player to stay around. I think girls and boys kept a guy and kept one of the players in town.
Silva's sticking around,
and Cuevas Moore. She's sticking with us too.
That's awesome.
Hey guys, well let's just get ready for this football season. Let me go ahead and get some kids, sneak them out to the Nationals, and get us in the top 25. Right.
Good luck, Coach. Thanks for joining us again.
Coach.
Hey, keep it real. I love that genuine, sweet voice coming there to soften this stuff up.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck to you.
All right, now. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, take care, Coach.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Keep it
Keep it real. Cut him off.
All right.
Good show, guys.
Sign it off. You got to sign off.
All right. See you next time on the Walk-Ons.